The world's richest man is about to launch the biggest IPO in history, and somehow you're already going to own a piece of it. How? Whether you want to or not. SpaceX is heading toward a $1.75 trillion valuation, worth more than Coca-Cola, Nike, McDonald's, Disney, and Starbucks combined. More than every major US defense contractor put together. So if you're asking who's actually buying a company that lost roughly $5 billion last year, Pound, the answer is you. Your 401k is about to become one of the largest buyers of SpaceX stock, and there's a quiet rule change that was built specifically to make that happen. But first, you need to understand what SpaceX actually is, because most people get it wrong. SpaceX isn't one company, but it's 3 businesses stitched together. Ask 10 people what SpaceX sells, and they'll say, rockets, maybe Mars. Both answers miss the point. SpaceX isn't one company. It's 3 businesses stitched together, and the rocket part isn't even the important one.
Earlier this year, SpaceX absorbed xAI in an all-stock deal that valued the combined company at $1.5.
That's a staggering number for a company that was burning north of $1 billion a month, and one that every single one of its original co-founders had already walked away from, as inspirations. Compare that to OpenAI, pulling in rough $24 billion a year, or Anthropic at $30 billion in revenue. It's priced like a premium airline while operating like a budget carrier running on fumes. The second business is the one people actually picture about, the rockets. Launching satellites, government cargo, crewed NASA missions. It brought in about $4 billion last year. Against a nearly $2 trillion valuation, that number barely moves the needle. And it only made up around a quarter of SpaceX's total revenue. Which brings us to the real engine, Rewrote, the one investors actually care about. Starlink. Satellite internet beamed down from more than 10,000 satellites in orbit to a dish on your roof. Since launching in 2020, it's become the fastest scaling telecom company ever built, now serving over 10 million subscribers across roughly 150 countries.
In 2025 alone, Starlink pulled in $11.4 billion, about 61% of SpaceX's entire revenue.
And its margins aren't just healthy, they're exploding. Up from around 41% 2 years ago to roughly 63% today. Add in maritime, aviation, and a classified defense version called Starshield working with the Pentagon. And you've got the actual cash machine underneath the SpaceX name. So here's the real picture. A satellite internet business printing money, a rocket division doing fine but priced like it already colonized Mars. Combined, the whole entity lost close to $5 billion last year on about $18.5 billion in revenue. Which brings us back to the real question, Hev. Who's buying this thing at $1.75 trillion? The answer sits inside a quiet rule change from Nasdaq. In May, Nasdaq introduced what's called the fast entry rule, and the timing lines up almost too perfectly with SpaceX's targeted IPO window. Here's why it matters. Joining the Nasdaq 100 forces every index fund tracking it to automatically buy your stock. Hundreds of billions of dollars in guaranteed demand. Under the old rules, a new listing had to wait at least 3 months before qualifying, giving the market time to actually price the stock first. The new rule slashes that to just 15 trading days. Then there's the float requirement. Companies used to need at least 10% of shares publicly tradable to qualify. SpaceX is reportedly targeting somewhere around 4 to 5. Under the old system, that's an automatic disqualification. Under the new one, it's fine. And buried inside the changes is a multiplier. For any company with a float under 20%, Nasdaq now treats that float as 3 times larger. In other words, the index rules were quietly rewritten to manufacture demand for a company that wouldn't have qualified 6 months ago.
And it's not stopping with SpaceX, though. OpenAI and Anthropic are both reportedly eyeing public listings this year, likely under this exact same setup.
This wasn't a one-off exception. It was a template. Then there's the retail piece. Most IPOs hand retail investors 5 to 10% of shares. SpaceX is reportedly targeting 30%, not because retail investors stabilize prices or hold long-term, but because, as SpaceX's own CFO put it to a room of bankers, retail has been loyal to the company's founder.
Translation, a huge chunk of an unprofitable $1.75 trillion company is being funneled straight to individual investors.
That's the mechanism nobody's talking about. The insiders holding shares at a low-cost basis get to sell into a market where the rules were changed to guarantee buyers. And those buyers are index funds and retail accounts, people who never chose to own a piece of a company burning billions, because passive investing doesn't ask permission. It just buys whatever gets added to the index, automatically, on your behalf. So next time someone tells you passive investing is the simplest, safest way to build wealth known, remember there's a part of that pitch nobody mentions. The same mechanism that quietly builds your retirement also quietly makes you exit liquidity. Subscribe. The real risks are never the loud ones.